Hello, welcome to Krafting Kitty. My name is Erin and I'm getting a late start. It's afternoon already, 12:15. So I don't know when you're gonna get to see this, but hopefully it uploads reasonably well. We don't have another debacle. So it is Saturday, which means it is time for my weekly roundup. It is also May the 4th be with you. I'm wearing my Dagobah shirt. Everyone seems to like the Alderaan shirt, but I couldn't find it in my closet. So I had to wear something Star Wars related. I will be honest. I also made a Star Wars related crafty purchase. I got sucked in. I went on Instagram and I have wanted to purchase from Forbidden Fiber for a while. And they had a post up about a May the 4th, Star Wars themed colorway set that I believe, so the Instagram post said it came with some of the doodles to make a colorwork cowl, but the description on the website did not mention the doodles, but I was so excited I bought it anyway, so I hope I get the doodles, but we'll see. So I did celebrate May the 4th in a crafty way today. I have no idea when it's going to be delivered. It said like 4 to 8 weeks, 4 to 6 weeks or something. I'll of course share it when it comes in. But what I do have to share is my final, apparently a little burp, stitch marker of the day from Miss Ellie Leva. This is from her spring set, and this is from Ellie Leva Crafts and More. Let's see what it is. Oh my goodness, now I've got the hiccups. Oh, that is so pretty. So it has a kind of a chartreuse daisy with a yellow center, some pink and some orange beads, and it has a little bird bead that has a, I think it's stone, but it has kind of the mother of pearl shiny effect and a little heart on it that says made with love. Look at how pretty that is. That is adorable. So it was a very spring green, the daisy in my camera. It is definitely more of a yellowy chartreuse, mellow yellow green in person. It's always what I think of. Chartreuse is a mellow yellow. But I guess Mountain Dew. My dad drank mellow yellow when I was little, so I don't tend to think of Mountain Dew. I tend to think of mellow yellow. Let's put that there. Oh no! I thought I clipped it on the thing, but I must have just missed the stitch marker. There we go. And there we go. The full set in all of its jumbled, beautiful glory, which means this will get tossed in a project bag and moved into rotation. But for now, I'm going to get my face all up in the camera and put it on the table behind you. I also have the beautiful bee Ziploc bag. I do reuse these. Try to reuse what I can. Okay, so what is Erin's Weekly Roundup, you might ask? It is where we go through my week in crafting, any finished objects, FOs, and whips, works in progress. Oh, I tend to forget, so let's do it now. This is the CNC cowl. It is a knit cowl kit I ordered from Mountain Meadow Wool. It is in a fun bamboo merino wool mix. It's so light and bouncy, and it's just fun. That was a really, really fun kit. It was quite affordable from what I remember. You can buy it with or without the needles. I purchased it without needles because I had the size I needed. This behind me is the Festive Dragon chevron scarf. It's designed by Gary from Urban Yarns, and I used 2 Hirschner's yarn. This is, I looked it up, it's burrow. It's a willow yarn burrow, and this was a willow wheel, and I really like it because it's got the solid color and then the color changing base. I think it's a fun one. One end has the point, the other end has a like an arrow, a dart. I don't know what you want to call that, fishtail. But what it means is if you wanted to, you could make them meet and have it be a very nice cowl instead of doing it like a super long scarf like I did. Anyway, there is a tutorial for that on Gary's channel, as well as I know I have a printed version. I think there was a link to a Dropbox that you can get it, or you had to message Gary to get it, and he sent you a link to a Dropbox. I don't know. Check out the video. Check it out. I've also done his hat. I'm now completely forgetting the name of his hat, and I'm sure you're yelling at Bush Tracker Beanie. Bush Tracker Beanie, I've done that. And he also has a shawl version of this, the Festive Dragon Shawl. Festive Dragon Chevron Shawl. Or maybe it's Festive there. I don't know. I have the pattern for it. I have not yet had the time to make it. Anyway, that's that. I actually don't know if Willow makes burrow anymore. I haven't checked. I got them in mystery bags when they used to have those fabulous Willow mystery bags from Hirschner's. I am so sad. They've like discontinued them for like a year and a half now, but I still remember them. They were wonderful. Okay, so you might be saying, Erin, get into your crafting. What did you finish this week? Nothing. No finished objects on the week other than what you saw in my weekly roundup. So I did a couple of, not a weekly roundup, things we're making Thursday. I did make a couple of washcloths. That's it. I did finish my book. We'll talk about that at the end. So we also talk about books I'm reading at this point. So let's just hop into the whips. I have kind of an abundance. That's just how I roll sometimes. Okay. We will start with my Aberdeen Wool Company Pickle Jar Cowl. This is where I'm at. I did get the mini of the week in. Let's get it close so you can kind of see. It's very dark blues and purples. It's gorgeous. I really like how it's playing in the whole thing. I got this. This is the pickle jar kit from Aberdeen Wool Company. You can buy this on their website. It's Tangle Poets Micro Minis. 20-yard minis. There's 40 in this jar. It comes with a knitting needle and 2 patterns. This is the original cowl pattern, and there's also a bias scarf pattern. If you are in the Yarny community, if you've purchased, if you're on their mailing list, I'm sure you've heard what's going on, but keep Aberdeen Wool in your thoughts if you can. They're going through some medical issues, and it's not good. So I know some people have been like, hey, my orders have been late. So give grace where you can and keep them in your thoughts. She has social media posts up about it if you want to check those out. It's not my story to tell, but just keep Aberdeen Wool. It's a small family-run business. I didn't realize that. I thought it was... So I'm very familiar with Hirschner's. I used to live close to Hirschner's, and that's a smaller business. It is, or I guess it was, family-run. But they have like a big team in the store. They've got huge customer service department. They've got tons of warehouse workers. They've got the retail shop fully staffed. Aberdeen Wool is run by just, it's 3 women primarily. So yeah, I am definitely keeping in my thoughts, and I hope for nothing but the best. Okay. We didn't pull the mini of next week. I'm flabbergasted. I don't want any more sadness. We've had enough. Let's pick the next mini of the week. Let the jar of fate decide. I don't like shake it up or anything, but I do just gotta hold it high so I don't see, stick my hand in, and whatever comes out, comes out. So that's what the top of the jar looks like. And we'll see. Oh no, now it is kind of more prominent. Have I? Well, it's still the jar of fate, right? Even if I jiggled it, it was fated to be jiggled, right? See which one I get. Oh, my ring. My ring got caught on the jar edge. I couldn't get my hand in. We'll do it this way. Non-ring hand. Fated to be. It is purples and greens and blues. So we're staying in the same family. This one's not quite as dark as the last one, and it has more of a forest green worked in. So that's very pretty. I think that's going to work in nicely. So here we go. We'll do this. I'll set this over here so I can get started on that next. Okay. What else do I have? Now, you know Brian got me an Addy for Christmas, and part of that, he got me a book, and I was going to work through things in the book. Next up was a blanket that I showed you the yarns I was going to use for. I have finished all 7 panels of the blanket. So here's one panel of the blanket. There are a number of tucked stitches and all of that. I'm gonna kind of let it go because it kind of gives it a more rustic look, I think, and I'm okay with it. This is gonna be, for me, it's my first larger blanket. I'll only get better with time. But anyway, I have my 7 panels. I'm not gonna show all 7 because they're stacked here in the order I have to attach them in. But here's the pile. Each one is 250 rows long. I'm going to approach the camera because I've been stacking it on my sewing table so it doesn't get knocked over. The book did say you shouldn't run it for the full 43 stitches in the flat panel knitting, but if you don't run it for the full 43 stitches, the round counter doesn't work. And it was like, run it for 40 stitches. I was like, I'm going to make these all 3 stitches wider to make the row counter work. Come on, people. So that is what I did. So now they say to sew it together and then use your knitting needles to pick up stitches on the edges and knit a border. Not going to happen. I'm going to crochet around each panel, connect them probably with a slip stitch, and then I'll crochet a further border around the entire blanket. That is my plan. And I am going to use the raspberry yarn for that. I know there was some debate. Some people were like, ew, don't do it. Some people were like, yes, pop of color. I'm going to do it. Pop of color, I'm going for it. Like I said, it's for me. And frankly, the kids don't like the raspberry. So there's more of a likelihood I will be able to keep the blanket. And I like the raspberry. So there we go. What else do I have to share with you? I always have an easy knitting project in here. Here's the leftover yarn from that hat tutorial I did. And I'm just working up a super quick garter ear warmer. So that's just a project I work on in this room when I'm editing. The order of operations is I do the pickle jar cowl first in here while I'm editing. Once I finish that, I'll pick up a secondary project, which will be that ear warmer, because this is my original secondary project. I have fully incorporated the last sock yarn into my sock memory granny blanket. So this is, I'm using all of my fingering weight yarn that is left over from socks when I don't have enough to make another pair of socks from it. And I'm just doing an ever-expanding granny square. It's using a 2mm crochet hook. So it's actually kind of a stiffer fabric, even though it's kind of thin. But I think that might help it be actually functional in the future. But here we go. So won't see that again until I have another sock yarn to add to it. What else do I have? Okay, I am really hoping the mic is not picking up what Bingo is watching out there. Brian found a channel that has like Disney videos, and it seems to be all official, but I don't want to draw the wrath of the mouse, if you know what I mean. Okay, so what I'm doing also is an MJ Off the Hook Granny Square V-neck sweater. I'm using mandala tweed stripes in the color Dragonfly. And as you can see, I've started my second cake. I have finished the yoke and begun the body. So there we go. Connected for the V, and I've got a couple of rows of the body done. So there we go. I think it's looking really pretty. I'm so excited to get this finished. This is a sweater for me. And then she does have a child size version. I think it's called like Mini Pop or something like that. I would love to make one for Bingo. I don't know if I'll have enough of Dragonfly left, but I do have some horseshoe here. So we could have a Mommy and Me granny set that is reminiscent of each other, but not exact duplicates. And I think that will be super cute. We'll keep on moving on. I have the socks I'm making for Brian. Here I am making, oops! Don't want to lose that. Simple Rib Socks by Woolly Waves, who is Darcy Anderson. This was part of a Project for Awesome Perks pack that I got a couple years ago. I am using Jelly Bean Yarns. Jelly Bean Yarns, hand-dyed yarn. And the colorway is Seaweed. Seaweed. This is 75% superwash merino, 25% nylon. This is a gorgeous color. I am adoring the color. It's so nuanced, and I think it's making just beautiful socks. So I have finished the leg, the heel, the turn, and I am 4 decreases, I believe I counted 4 decreases from finishing the gusset. Brian has, he used to be a karate teacher through high school and into college, and at one point he was a professional kickboxer. This was long before we met, and he has broken his feet many times, but he has a very like high arch, so I'm doing extra rows during the gusset to make a wider arch section. Crossing fingers it works. What else do we have here? Okay, I've got this one. This is, what are you? This is my ocean cowl, my ocean Tunisian cowl. It was my Things We're Making Thursday Tunisian project. I didn't finish. That's okay. I am using Rowan Valley Tweed. I have started my second ball. So I think we're at about the 2/3 point. We're going to do this for about 9.5 inches, and I think I'm at around 6 inches. A little over 6 inches right now. So here we are. It's a smock stitch with a 2x2 rib, worked flat, and then you sew it together to make a cowl. I am super excited about this. I love this stitch. This was a project I had to rip out and completely start over, and I'm glad I did, because I think when I first did the pattern, I think I must have misunderstood or messed up the stitches, because the stitch looks so much nicer this go around. So I think it was, you know, a hidden blessing there that I had to start over. And then, oh, that pattern is by Nicole N. Ocean Tunisian Cowl. It'll be linked down below. It was free on Ravelry. The socks were a perk, like I said, so I paid for the digital perk. I don't know if you can buy them separate from that. And the sweater, like I said, is from MJ Off the Hook. There is a tutorial on her channel for it. I think she goes through the smaller, the medium size on her tutorial. I joined the website so I could get the written pattern for that. And then I got, this has 2 projects in it because I don't know why I do some things. I just shoved the pattern, I just shoved the project in here. Okay, I am once again doing Lori Armchair Chef's Mystery Yarn Challenge. I'm doing MYC 524. Again, I'm working a whip and going to send yarn to somebody. It's a secret, so I won't say. But the whip I'm doing this month is, you might recall, I reviewed this Mary Maxim Artist Palette yarn, and I started a little scarf with it. And I was like, oh, I'll finish it later. Yeah, I didn't, and it ended up in a scrap bag, and I found it. So this is what I'm working on. I've gotten a number of rows in on this. I love this yarn. I am so sad they discontinued it. It's so soft and light and just beautiful. Oh, they take away all the pretty yarns, don't they? So here I am. I have begun the work on it. I sent Lori my picture, and I am just basically making this scarf until I run out of this yarn. I think it's going to end up child size. And I thought I had a child size hat to match this, because I made it with the tutorial, with the yarn review, right? I think I accidentally donated it last year to my LYS's hat drive. So I might just whip up like a white hat to kind of match it to make a set. We'll see. I don't know. But there we go. I'm working on that for my MYC challenge. No pattern. Just made it up in my head. Also what I'm doing is, it's a new month, so that means it's a new creator spotlight. We're doing Bella Coco. I didn't realize that with her association with Crochet Society in the past, there would be any confusion. If I don't require that she be the personal actual designer with any of the people, Mikey the Crochet Crowd, Marley Bird, Expression Fiber Arts, they all have content from other designers on their challenge. All you have to do is get the information from Sarah Jane, from the Bella Coco channel, from her. Doesn't matter if she didn't design it. As long as she presented it, you're good to go. I'm not going to be that picky. I'm not trying to trick anyone. I frankly didn't even realize it was an issue. I didn't think like that. But that's okay. So if you were confused and you have things that might have been presented by Bella Coco from Crochet Society, you're good to go. You're good to go. Don't worry about it. Please submit. So I am doing, she has a tutorial for a V-stitch infinity scarf cowl on the channel, and that looked fun to me. So I actually started with a different 5-weight yarn, and I thought it looked really bad. So I restarted it with this. It's Charisma Tweed Hues in the colorway Mountain Lake. I'm laughing because I thought this was just a perfect use of this yarn. This was one of the very first clearance hauls when Brian first started participating in the channel. He went to Michael's and did a clearance haul for me, and he came back with this. And I recall in the video he was so upset about the name, and he was like, what is that, a toxic lake? So it's been up there, and I've been wanting to make something with it, and using it for a creator spotlight, I think, just seemed fitting. Someone's gonna get Brian's Toxic Lake yarn in a beautiful color. I think it's a beautiful colorway. I agree. I'm not quite sure how you get Mountain Lake from it, but that's okay. In the tutorial, she suggests a 6.5mm crochet hook. I am using, I knew I didn't want to use a 6.5. So I went through my frills. I don't have my boxes marked. I really need to marked my boxes. And I said, if I find, depending on whichever one I find first, a 7 or an 8, that's what I'm using. Found my 7, my L7 first, so that's what I'm using. This came as a mystery. I think it's the Pisces. It's a beautiful deep blue with like silver. It's gorgeous. But yep, I'm using my Frills L 7mm streamline resin hook for that. And I think it's making a great fabric. I also did not do the same number of stitches on my starting chain. Mine is slightly longer than hers was. I think she did 23 and I did like 26, 29. I just did a few more repeats. Okay, so the last thing I have crochet wise is my amigurumi. I'm giggling. You're gonna see why. So this is my year of amigurumi. I'm trying to up my amigurumi skills. I'm making everything from Crochet Cute Critters by Sarah Zimmerman, who is Repeat Crafter Me on YouTubes and Instagram, all that good stuff. I got this book on special sale on Amazon's. I've made a few of the patterns, so I'm making everything I haven't already made. I pick 2, the kids alternate on who gets to pick first, so Kid A picks, and then Kid B gets the other one, and then they flop. So Bingo picked the hippo. It was her time to pick first, but the giraffe was next in the book. So the giraffe was next in the book. So Chomps gets his amigurumi first. I have made progress. I think I mentioned last week that Chomps had an interesting color palette in mind. He wanted everything that was yellow to be green, everything that was brown to be orange, and he wants the tan bit to be yellow. The kids choose. I try to make their dreams come to life. I know what I am going to hold up looks slightly profane. I finished the body and the head and an arm. Brian looked at me real sideways when I was like, look, I'm here, look how far I am. I know, I'm sorry. So I will show real quickly my progress. There you go. Eyeballs. Chomped picked green eyes. So he's got green eyes. Thank you. So Emma A mentioned in her comments that she had made this pattern and the neck was floppy. So she suggested I try to put a stabilizer in. So I got a toilet paper roll and I kind of folded it up 3 times to make it thinner. I shoved it in there and then I tried to shove stuffing around it to pad the outside, and it seems it seems pretty good right now. I really need to get that second arm on, don't I? So it seems quite stable right now. Emma, I am so thankful you made that comment when you did, because I was just finishing up the head and I was about to attach them, and so I had time to pull some of the stuffing out of the neck, rearrange, shove that in, and hopefully have a successful giraffe that can be loved for a long time. Okay, so that is everything crafty. So just news on the channel, I did get my Yarnable subscription for the month. I will open that. I have decided, I haven't opened it yet, so I don't know what it looks like. But I've just decided this will be the last one. I've gotten it for 4 months. It's time to move on. So I was looking through your suggestions, and there was a couple that I checked, but they're joining is, you can't join right now. So I joined the wait list and we'll see if they come available. But Igor Knits had suggested Trilogy yarns, and she specifically suggested their DK yarn. I'm so sorry. When I saw the yarn bases, I just ignored all of your advice. The razzle dazzle got me. You got. So I did join one of the Trilogy Yarn Company sock monthly subscriptions. I'm not going to reveal which one it is until I get the first shipment, and that's what we'll do for a couple of months here, and then I'll check and see what I can join next. I'm having fun going through and reviewing these subscriptions and seeing. I've taken screenshots of your suggestions when they come through, and I just go through in kind of chronological order of the screenshots and see what I could join. So thank you. I'm so excited. Books. We'll talk books. I did, as I said, finish the book that wouldn't burn, by Mark Lawrence. I'll start off by saying I liked the book. It was an interesting read. It defies description in a way. There's like time travel. There's like, I can't even describe it. I don't understand how to describe it other than it's interesting. It's about a library. There's like a cyclical war. It's all about history repeating itself and people trying to break that cycle. And it's good. It's good. There's like star-crossed lovers type situation going on. Oh, man. Oh, like that's good. Okay, so here is one of the blurbs on the back of the book. The book that wouldn't burn combines extraordinary imagination with the expert craftsmanship of a writer at the top of his game. The power inherent in the written word provides the magical spine to an epic tale exploring the joys and dangers of human discovery. I mean, that's good. That is good. It's a lot about information, knowledge, how it's passed down, how it's used responsibly, how it's disseminated. There's a lot to chew on in this book. And it's interesting. I think Lucy described it best in my Facebook group by saying, it's strange. It's strange. But she's going to keep listening. She's listening to the audiobooks. There are 2 novellas that are tangential to the story. They are not necessarily integral to the story from what I've read. I've also found that they seem to only be available in ebooks. So we'll see if I'm going to track those down. The second book, this is going to be a trilogy. The second book was just recently released a couple of weeks ago. So that's the book that broke the world is the next book. I am not jumping right into any of the additional books because I've been reading other series as well and I want to get back to a couple of those. So, finished this. What did I move on to? I'm going back to the Kingkiller Chronicles universe by Patrick Rothfuss. And I am reading, the book is called Rogues. It's an anthology by George R.R. Martin and Gardner, oh gosh, D-O-Z-O-I-S, Dozois? Doziz? Every time I see it, it's just George R.R. Martin. So what this is, it's an anthology. It's a bunch of short stories. They are all involving rogues. So there's a couple of other books in here. There's Heroes. That's one all about heroes. And there's one. Do you have all of them listed here? I think there's at least 2 others. No. There's an introduction that I thought was really interesting. I thought he talked about the other anthologies in here. Warriors and Dangerous Women are at least 2 others in this kind of series. They're all different genres. It's all just centrally about roguish characters. So that's very interesting. The why I'm reading this is there is a short story in here called The Lightning Tree by Patrick Rothfuss that is in the Kingkiller Chronicles universe. And I actually think it might have been the basis for the second novella that came out last year. I think it was October, that I do have, and that will be the next in this universe that I read. But it's further down in the book. It's like near the end, I think. There's a Neil Gaiman book in here. I love Neil Gaiman. There's a, yep, it's like, it's way at the end. It's in the 700s. It's the Patrick Rothfuss one. I'm reading the first one, Tough Times All Over by Joe Abercrombie. And I've heard of him. I've never read anything by Joe Abercrombie, so I'm very excited. And then the next one is Gillian Flynn. She wrote Gone Girl. So that should be interesting. And that's a whole, you know, a whole other genre. The kind of psychological thriller. David W. Bell. Michael Swanwick. I've never heard of him. Daniel Abraham. Bradley Denton. There's tons. There's tons of... Oh, there's not tons. There's like 24, 25 stories in here. Anyway, I'm having fun. It's an incredibly heavy book. It's like got the fun, really cool feeling paper. Books. I love books. They excite me. So yeah, that's what I'm doing now. I think I've got 10 pages left in the first book, or the first story, and I'm hoping to read at least a story a week. We'll see. We'll see. It all depends on time, right? Everything depends on time. Yeah, I will come back tomorrow with something. I don't know. I don't know. And yeah, we'll keep on trucking on. Thank you everybody who stops by, and anybody new, thank you for stopping by. Let me know if you have any pattern suggestions, any yarn suggestions, any subscription box suggestions, book suggestions. Every book you suggest gets added to my TBR. Some I get immediately excited about and go purchase. I've talked about you already, but Elizabeth Igor Knits, I think you're the one who brought up Assistant to the Villain. I had seen that a couple of times. Yeah, it may have arrived yesterday. And Lit Knits and Ray, who suggested the book That Wouldn't Burn, are also prolific suggesters of books to read and patterns. And I love it all. Please keep suggesting it. You gotta keep me out of trouble. If I were just here left to my own devices, who knows what I would get into? It's really for my own safety. Thank you. Okay, I'll see you guys later. Bye.